right, chat. How is it going, everybody? We're going to jump right on into this because we're going to get the update out of the way, and then I'm going to end the stream, and we're going to restart it. We're going to play some other games until Nate and everybody else gets ready. We're going to play some Valorant later. But right now, we're going to get this paddle update out of the way since everybody's already here. So let's jump over here. Hello, how's it going? I'm Roar. I'm commissioner, runner of this league. I run it. I do everything here. So we're going to take a look at the end of week 1 here, see how all the stats went, see how everybody placed and everything, and then we're going to watch a few replays here because we had a lot of good matches, we had a lot of close matches, and we also had some unfortunate things that happened in week 1 here, some unfortunate misreadings of the rules that ended up not going so well for some people. So we're going to look at that and see why that happened and explain how that's going to be ruled in the future. All right, so let's zoom this in here real quick if I can. There we go. Okay, so at the end of week 1, we ended with the Washington Zatus winning their match, Toxic Waste winning theirs, the Beverly Beedrills winning theirs, and Team Dumbass also winning their matches. Those are our first 4 wins in week 1. Leaving the Beverly Beedrills Gasquet in first place, having 6-0'd his match, which was very impressive to see. It was a very close match. The scoreline does not show how close that match was at all, but we're going to get into that later. Toxic Waste and the Washington Zatus tied, although the Washington Zatus only got 4 kills due to an unfortunate ruling that we will get into in just a second. So that is the end of the week 1. That is our KDs. Those are our differentials, the win-losses. Let's jump into the team sheets here, and we can take a look at how this went. So this is the Washington Zatu score, how this went. We can jump over here to the battle, since we'll get this one out of the way first. So this is what the matchup looked like initially. This was the start of this match. This was actually the last match that was played at the end. This was on Thursday, I believe. This was on Thursday, but this was the last match that was played. But what was quite unfortunate about this, hold on, let me get this music turned down a bit now that it's picking up the pace. What was quite unfortunate about this was that Potato Z, the person who runs the Washington Rodham Wizards, had traded his Arcanine and his Steelix prior to this match. And due to the rules, that means that they were not eligible to be used in this match, and nor were their replacements. And yet, he decided to bring both Arcanine and Steelix for this matchup, right there in the center, as you can see, and that led to a very lengthy dispute that we had at the start of this match. It lasted for about an hour, which was quite unfortunate, and ended up having ended with him having to play the match with 4 Pokemon instead of 6, because if we had allowed him to pull in 2 other replacement Pokemon for his team, that would have given an unfair advantage to him, as he had already seen my team spread, and it would have given him an unfair advantage in the battle. So unfortunately, the ruling we had to give was he would either have to forfeit the match with a 4-0 record, or he would have to play the match with 4 Pokemon. He decided to go ahead and play with 4 on 6, and unfortunately lost this match. It wasn't very entertaining, so we'll just skip right over the match, but it did end in a 3-0 victory, right? 3-0? No, it was a 4-0. Or was it? No, it was a 3-0. 3-0 victory. And then we can jump right into Gasquet and Shadow Masters match. This was the Beverly Beedrills versus the Pinellas Pichus. This was a very close match. Although it did end in a 6-0 for Gasquet, it was a very close match to watch. Let's zoom in and watch this. So it was a lead Hippowdon Serena, swapping Gasquet swapping right into his Charizard, immediately getting knocked off, losing half the health there. And it was a very back and forth, lots of swapping for this match the entire time, swapping into Silvally, taking that Fire Blast, Gasquet deciding to roost with the Charizard there, before getting hit with a parting shot. Oh, I'm changing stuff to swap into the Pelipper to cancel out the Sun, swapping into the Tide Pod there. The Toxic coming out on the Pelipper was a very interesting choice in my opinion. I did not expect to see that at all. Gasquet deciding to Volt Switch out when the Serena came in, going back into the Charizard, an interesting choice even though it was still in the rain, swapping back into the Pelipper, Toxic being shown on the Charizard as well, which was another thing that was very interesting for me to see. Pelipper once again showing Hurricane, always a staple on a Drizzle Pelipper set, swapping into the Sableye, and once again, this is very even. We're now 10 turns into this battle, and no one has lost a Pokemon yet. Always a back and forth. It's always good to see when it's very even like this. Swapping into the Silvally there to take the Moonblast. Then swapping out to the Hippowdon once the rain is gone. I believe this was the first kill finally at turn 11 here. If I'm not mistaken. No, this is swapping into the Pelipper to keep the match going. The Stealth Rock setting up for the first time. Yes, it was a very back and forth match. Tyranitar finally getting shown, missing the Hurricane because of the Sandstorm. Very good play to see, getting rid of that rain. Thunder Punch finally taking the first kill there. We're now 14 turns into the match, and the first Pokemon has fallen. So this was a very back and forth match until, Shadow started losing, just dropping all of his Pokemon, and then from there on just fell into a 6-0. But once again, this was a very, very good match to see. Yes, what is PADL? PADL is our Pokemon Draft League that I am currently running. This is our Week 1 recap for that. Yeah, this was a very even match. We're now on turn 20, and still only one Pokemon has fallen. Swapping into the Sableye there to take another Toxic. That was a very interesting thing for me to see. You don't always see a Toxic on a Charizard, especially when it's not like. It's always good to see a Charizard that's not a Mega, not a Dynamax or anything. Being said, those are not allowed in this league, but it is interesting to see Toxic on a Charizard nonetheless. Cinccino also a good play. Skill Link always a nice thing to have. Almost taking out the Whimsicott there, but not quite. Tailwind being set up, and that was the start of the sweep, if I'm not mistaken. Swapping into Tyranitar here. Silvally going with the multi-attack, and I'm pretty sure it was just a Tyranitar sweep on the way out the door. Yes, they're killing the Silvally there. Into the Cinccino, Crunch KOing, and this is where it just went downhill. We got the Tailwind sweep coming out from Gasquet. The prankster making the Will-O-Wisp fail. That was quite unfortunate to see. That would have been a very good way to stop the sweep if it had landed. But unfortunately, the Gen 7 ruling for, or the Gen 7 rule change for prankster, not allowing it to hit on dark types, made the Will-O-Wisp fail, allowing Tyranitar to secure another kill. And then I believe the Charizard gets the final the Charizard gets one kill, and I think Tyranitar swaps in for the last one. But once again, this was a very back and forth match. It was a lot closer than it seemed until the Tailwind sweep came out. Gasquet got the 6-0 on the final kill here from the Hippowdon. And that was the end of that match. Moving on to our next one here. This was Toxic Waste versus Saucy Saplings. This was another very interesting match. This was Sammy's first look at Wymie's poison type team, mono poison type team. It was very interesting to see. It's always good to see what Wyme decides to do. She always goes with the mono poison type team. So it's always, and it's so funny because everyone always decides to underestimate her, and she always just destroys people with it. So this wasn't quite destruction, but it was a very well played match on both sides. So we'll take a look at how this one went. The Toxapex setting up the substitute, getting destroyed by the knockoff there. Scald not really going to be doing anything against a Rillaboom. Although it was poisoned, the Baneful Bunker coming out. The Toxic Spikes, one layer of Toxic Spikes really played a big part in this match, gotta say. Swapping into the Ditto, a poisoned Toxapex now out. Swapping into the first Weezing, the Galarian Weezing. Wyme did have both Weezings, but only brought the Fairy type one for this match. Swapping into the Cofagrigus there, also getting poisoned there. Everything getting poisoned in this match. I gotta say that was a big part that led into Wyme's win there. Not being able to get rid of that the Toxic Spikes layer there really had an effect against Sammy for this match. Ninetales coming out once again, almost killing the Weezing there, but not quite. Gotta get the follow up here though, since the Weezing did not quite do enough damage. Swapping out into the Toxapex there, getting the Resist, the Regenerator really playing a part for the Toxapex living there. Solar Beam not going to be doing a damn thing. The Scald going to be chipping away, even though it's in the sun. Still does a fair bit of damage, so forcing out the swap into Celebi, who also gets poisoned here Once again, the Toxic Spike Slayer really coming into effect. If it had swapped here at some point, though, the Nature Cure would have gotten rid of that. Although since Sammy had no way of getting rid of that Toxic Spike Slayer, the poison would have been reset anyway. Salazzle coming out here, an Avocado. Always got to thank the Avocado. I believe Sammy swapped. Oh yes, the Celebi fell, so that swapped in the Rillaboom. Killing the Rillaboom, and then into the Ditto. That's what I was expecting to happen. The Ditto coming out, poisoning the Toxapex on the swap, which was very unfortunate. Wall breaking the wall breaker. Or wall breaking the wall. So, and then from here on out, I believe this ended in a 4-0. So there's one more kill in here somewhere, but this was pretty much the end of this match. Oh, that's my Discord. That was my Discord. And the end of the Ditto there. Swapping into the Ninetales. I believe the Ninetales just... Oh no, we're going to swap into the Toxapex. I'm not good at commentating, if you guys can tell. I'm not good at commentating these matches when they're fast-paced. Even though I know exactly what's going to happen, I don't know what the hell to say. But we're going to watch it nonetheless. Solar Beam not quite going to take out the Toxapex. Recovering, and there's going to be like 3 turns to recover versus Solar Beam here. That at any point, Wyme could have very easily taken out this Ninetales, but it would have sacrificed her Toxapex, unfortunately. So she finally decided to swap into the Skuntank. And I believe this ended in a 5-0. Poison Jab going to take out the Clefairy there with the poison, finishing it off. Oh, wait, no. This is Wonder Guard. Or Magic Guard, sorry. So the poison had no effect. So the Poison Jab now going to take it out. Going back into the Ninetales. And the Sucker Punch going to finish it off. While I'm getting a 5-0 victory there over the Saucy Saplings. The last match of the week here was Jared Y versus Doot. Team Dumbass versus the official Garfield Fan Club. This was a very interesting match to see. If you guys did not know, Jeremy decided he wanted to do the draft completely random. So he completely randomized his selections for the draft. And this was the team that he ended up getting out of that, which is very interesting. Oh, my bad, dude. I'm sorry. I forgot the trademark. The official Garfield Fan Club trademarked. So we had the final Gambit on the Excelgor, immediately taking out the Araquanid, the Mimikyu also falling. Como going to take out the Cinderace there. And I believe that was the last Pokemon that Jeremy lost, because this Shell Smash Cloyster came out here. Was definitely a good sweeper nonetheless, giving me a little bit of flashbacks to some of the previous seasons you guys didn't see. We had a competitor whose name was Mythala. This was one of his trademark things, was he always ran a Shell Smash Cloyster that would just sweep through teams like nothing else. So we got 2 down here. The Corviknight did live, which allowed him to take out, or which allowed Duke to take out the Cloyster finally. And then I believe the Necrozma came in for the final sweep. And there was a 3-0 victory for Jeremy and Team Dumbass. The Charge Beam not quite killing. The Heat Wave going to finish it off here on the next turn. And then the Heat Wave going to immediately one-shot the Vileplume. And that was the end of our last match for week 1. So once again, looking back at it, we had our top 4 teams here winning. First place, Beverly Beedrills getting their 6-0 sweep, or 6-0, not quite sweep, but a 6-0 very close match. Tied for second place right now is the Washington Zatus and Toxic Waste. Due to an unfortunate ruling that did give the Washington Zatus 2 extra kills added to their differential, allowing them to be tied for second place. Otherwise, they would be in third right now. Fourth place is Team Dumbass getting their 3-0 victory over the Garfield Fan Club. And tied for 6th place is the Rotom Washington Wizards on the other end of the unfortunate scenario there, where he had to go into the match without 2 Pokemon, giving 2 free KOs to the Zatus, tied with the Saucy Saplings, who had a unfortunate loss there. And in last place there, we have the Pinellas Pichus on the other end of that 0-6 loss. Very unfortunate to see. But that is the end of our week 1 matchup. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my recap. It was absolutely terrible, I know. Hopefully they get better over time. We've got 6 more weeks of this stuff, plus the final tournament at the end. So hopefully they get better towards the end of the night, or towards the end of the season here. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna end this section of the stream, so that I can post this on YouTube, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna play some Valorant later. So have a good night. Have a good day, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time.